Okay, Tesla has launched the lower-priced Model Y Standard, but calling it affordable doesn't quite sit right with many buyers. At nearly $40,000, it feels more like a compromise than a bargain. And for a growing number of people, it simply isn't worth the money. Unless someone is absolutely set on owning a Tesla badge right now, there's a strong argument for waiting. That's because something far more interesting appears to be coming. A vehicle expected to cost roughly 25% less, with a launch window aimed at next year. Internally, this looks less like a side project and more like a contingency plan. A quiet backup strategy in case the Model Y Standard fails to meet sales expectations. Over the past several months, a steady stream of leaks has emerged from Fremont. At the same time, Chinese suppliers have shown renewed activity tied to a compact Tesla program. And subtle, but important changes have been spotted within Tesla's structural casting initiatives. All of this points toward a vehicle many have been waiting years for, the Model 2. Sometimes referred to as Model Q, this appears to be the hatchback Tesla never truly had in its lineup. And for the first time, it feels genuinely close to reality. The expected price hovering around $30,000 places it in a dramatically different competitive space than the Model Y Standard. If these leaks turn out to be accurate, this vehicle could be intensely competitive in both the United States and China. It won't try to be a luxury crossover, and it won't pretend to be a premium sedan. Instead, it looks like it will focus on efficiency, simplicity, and scale. It may lack the refinement and polish of the Model Y or Model 3. But paradoxically, that's exactly what could make it Tesla's most transformative vehicle to date. The real question is not whether it will be cheaper, but how Tesla plans to make it different. Not enough to justify its existence while still feeling unmistakably like a Tesla. For years, Elon Musk has talked openly about the idea of a $25,000 Tesla. That promise became part of the company's long-term identity, repeated during earnings calls and interviews, and often framed as the moment electric vehicles would truly become mainstream. Yet time and again, expectations were pushed back. When the Cybertruck finally arrived, it carried a price tag far above what many early followers had imagined. In that sense, the Model Y Standard felt like history repeating itself. People hoped for something accessible, but what they got was a pared-down version of an already expensive vehicle. It's not surprising that the Model Y Standard has struggled to generate excitement. When buyers realize they can spend just a few $1,000s more and get a significantly better equipped Model Y or even a Model 3, the value proposition quickly collapses. Meanwhile, competitors like the Chevrolet Equinox EV and Toyota's electric offerings provide similar practicality with interiors that don't feel as stripped or compromised. Even among Tesla enthusiasts, there's been a quiet acknowledgement that the Model Y Standard simply missed the mark. From the moment it was announced, many observers predicted exactly this outcome. A vehicle with fewer features, a simplified interior, and noticeable compromises. All while still carrying a $40,000 price tag was always going to be a tough sell. A price closer to $35,000 would have made far more sense, positioning it as a true entry point rather than an awkward middle ground. But Tesla rarely moves backward once a pricing strategy is set, and instead, the company seems to be looking ahead to something entirely new. What's important to understand is that Tesla hasn't stopped working toward affordability. In fact, the company is now producing cheaper electric vehicles than ever before. It's not because it's cutting corners, but because its production technology has evolved. New manufacturing methods, simplified vehicle architectures, and more efficient battery strategies are steadily reducing costs across the board. This is why the idea of a Tesla priced roughly 25% lower than the Model Y Standard is no longer just optimistic speculation. It's increasingly plausible. Internal reports suggest that Fremont will play a role in producing this new model, which is notable. Fremont is one of Tesla's most mature factories, and using it for a high-volume, lower-cost vehicle suggests confidence in the design and manufacturing approach. According to multiple sources, the debut is expected around May 2026, Elon Musk has reportedly instructed teams to finalize every detail, from exterior proportions to interior materials and core specifications. Before anything is shown publicly, even when pressed directly, Musk has remained tight-lipped. During high-profile conversations, including moments when interviewers tried to extract hints or confirmations, he refused to reveal details ahead of an official unveiling. What he has said, however, is telling. He believes this product has the potential to be unforgettable, possibly the most memorable unveil Tesla has ever done. That's a bold claim, especially coming from someone whose company has already introduced vehicles that reshaped entire segments. Once information about this compact Tesla began leaking, the community immediately split into two camps. On one side are the skeptics, who argue that hitting a $30,000 price point inevitably means sacrificing too much. They believe the Model 2 will be slower, cheaper feeling, and significantly less capable than existing Teslas. From their perspective, the only way to reach that price is through compromises that undermine what makes a Tesla special. On the other side are those who see this as Tesla returning to its roots. These supporters argue that Tesla's real advantage has never been luxury, but efficiency and software. If Tesla can deliver strong range, acceptable performance, and access to its ecosystem in a simpler package, then refinement becomes less important. For many buyers, especially first-time EV owners, affordability and operating costs matter far more than premium materials, one of the most interesting aspects of the Model 2 leaks is how different this car appears to be at a structural level. Rather than shrinking an existing platform, Tesla seems to be designing this vehicle around cost efficiency from the ground up. This includes changes to structural castings, potentially reducing the number of parts even further than what we see in the Model Y. Fewer parts mean faster assembly, lower labor costs, and fewer opportunities for manufacturing errors. Battery strategy is another key factor. While Tesla continues to improve its 4,680 cells, there's strong evidence that the Model 2 will rely on a chemistry optimized for cost rather than maximum energy density. That could mean a refined LFP approach or a new variation designed specifically for compact vehicles. The goal isn't to deliver record-breaking range, but to provide enough real-world usability to satisfy daily driving needs at the lowest possible cost. Performance expectations will also need to be reset. No one should expect this vehicle to match the acceleration of a Model 3 performance or even a long-range Model Y. Instead, the focus will likely be on smooth, predictable driving, strong efficiency, and durability. For urban and suburban drivers, that trade-off makes sense. Fast charging capability and access to Tesla's charging network will matter far more than shaving a second off the 0 to 60 time. Interior design is where Tesla may surprise people. While the Model Y standard cut features in a way that felt arbitrary, the Model 2 appears to be embracing simplicity intentionally. A smaller cabin allows for smarter use of space, fewer materials, and easier assembly. Expect a minimal layout, possibly even more stripped back than current models, but still centered around Tesla's software experience. The screen, the interface, and over-the-air updates will remain central to the ownership experience. This vehicle also makes sense, strategically on a global scale. In China, where competition in the compact EV segment is fierce, price sensitivity is extremely high. A $30,000 Tesla, or even less with local incentives and production efficiencies, could be a serious contender. In the United States, it opens the door for younger buyers and households that have been priced out of the brand entirely. Perhaps most importantly, the Model 2 isn't meant to replace the Model Y or Model 3, it's meant to expand Tesla's reach downward, creating a new entry point into the ecosystem. Once customers are in, Tesla benefits from software subscriptions, charging revenue, and brand loyalty. In that sense, the Model 2 is less about margins on the vehicle itself and more about long-term scale. Looking at Tesla's history, its biggest successes have come when it focused on doing one thing extremely well, rather than trying to please everyone. The Model S proved electric cars could be desirable. The Model 3 proved they could be mass-produced. The Model Y proved a single platform could dominate globally. The Model 2 may prove that true affordability doesn't require abandoning innovation. There are still risks, of course. Execution will matter more than ever. If Tesla misjudges quality, range, or pricing, this vehicle could end up in the same awkward position as the Model Y standard. But unlike that model, the Model 2 appears to be designed with a clear purpose from day one. It's not a downgraded version of something else. It's a clean sheet response to market reality. As the rumored 2026 launch approaches, more information will inevitably surface. Supplier contracts, regulatory filings, and prototype sightings will fill in the gaps. But even now, the outline is clear enough to understand why this vehicle is generated S.